Yeah, hi folks, this is Siggi. Nice to see you again. Nice to have you here with me today with something totally different from the other guitar lessons. This is a track from my DVD called, well, A Closer Look. And, well, what is this all about? You see, I'm a teacher, and at school when I start doing my first music lessons, I want to tell the pupils that instruments can tell stories. And I play this, and I want the students, the young students, to find out what this is all about, and they are really very enthusiastic about this and like this a lot. So if you're a teacher or whatever, if you're interested in creating these sounds, well, let us start. It is a story I call The Burglar, and the students really soon find out this is the sound of an opening door. Yeah, with your pick you go between the E string and the A string. Next thing is, well, we tell the listeners what time it is. So I try to imitate the bell of a church or whatever, and I put the A string across the E string. So we have a cross here, and then in the 7th fret I press my finger down and get a sound like that. Here I see that I haven't crossed them really, so they need to be one across the other. And here, test with it, you get this bell-like sound. Then, as a next step, our burglar comes onto the scene, into the house, after he has opened the door, and with the E string and 1st, 2nd and 3rd fret, I try to imitate the way he walks, yeah, tiptoeing over the floor, and therefore I put my right hand palm on the string to have very short notes, to imitate the short contact to the floor. And, well, that's the way it works. You can look over your shoulder by imitating the burglar. And then we have a kind of alarm system. The lady of the house, she awakes and cries for help. In German it is Hilfe. And I do something like this. Yeah, my first finger is on the 12th fret of the thin E string, and with my ring finger I push the 15th fret of the B string. Well, and this is the way I try to imitate the screaming of the lady. And then, by seeing her, the burglar, he starts to run. First, 2nd, 3rd fret on the E string, mute the E string, and start to run. Then he runs onto the street, and even at night at that time in Germany, well, the streets are crowded with cars. There is a car that is making the alarm sound. Therefore, I push my 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, and with my pinky, well, I press down the 3rd fret of the thin E string, and I push my ring finger a little bit to get this sound. On the electric guitar, you can use your volume and turn it down and up, and so you get the impression that the car that is making that sound is, well, passing by. Okay, he runs, and the cars, they are, what is it? This sound, beeping or whooping? I don't know. I have to look it up in the dictionary again. And suddenly, well, he is overrun by a car, making a sound like that, going with a flat pick on the fretboard. You can imitate that. Well, and after that we have the emergency car come in. Get the sound just by pressing down the B string, the E string in a 6th fret, or whatever way, whatever you like. Or do it in the 8th fret. Oh, I like this more. Could tell you a story about the different intervals and their reaction. We have this interval of the 4th whenever there is danger or things like that. Yeah, we use that interval. It's quite an interesting story to find out why we use special intervals, why we call this in German tritonus is 3-tone. Some people say it's the voice of the devil, and this interval was forbidden in the medieval times, but I think it's only a story. Well, and the next thing is our burglar unfortunately dies, but he was not such a bad man. So bad man, not Batman, but bad man. And well, finally he reaches heaven, and in heaven he can hear, and we can hear, the angels singing, yeah? And I like this chord to imitate the unreal romantic sound of the harp by putting my little finger onto the 6th fret of the D string, ring finger onto the 5th fret of the G string, and my forefinger into the 3rd fret of the B string. And then I use the open E string as well. And then I go with all the fingers, one to the left. Well, if you like this and have good imagination, maybe you can create your own stories and publish them on YouTube. I would be very grateful for that, because with this story, well, you have a good entertainment for your students and their imagination starts. Before, well, I tell this story before I then go in the so-called, in German we call it Programmmusik, program music, which means, well, the composer has composed a song or a track that tells a story, take from the classical compositions, for example, the Moldau by Smetana, the Czech composer, who describes the way the Moldau runs through the old Czechoslovakia. Or take, for example, the Carnival of the Animals. I don't know what the original title is in English, by a man called Saint-Saëns. Or great thing is the pictures at an exhibition